Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first practical lesson as a series. We are going to be looking at how we set up a private university from scratch, from conception of the idea to matriculation of the first set of students. As you can see from the intro, who is to guide us? No other person other than a woman of substance, somebody who has walked through potential and on the proprietors who have received their license through a 14-step process in the establishment of private universities. Of course, from the Nigerian context, other participants from other countries, you have different methodologies, but you find that there are commonalities in the methodologies that our guide, Mrs. Constance Goddy-Nnadi, the director of the department or the directorate of that establishment of private universities, will take us through. Over to you, Madam Goddy-Nnadi.
This presentation is on planning a private university from scratch, from concept to first matriculation. The major steps in setting up a private university are accessible at NUC website, as shown on the screen, the way to access that site. And it shows the criteria, the guidelines, and the requirements as follows: 1 to 7. Application in writing stating the intent for the establishment of the university. Interview of promoters to ascertain their commitment in order to decide whether or not to issue application forms. Collection of application forms, submission of completed application forms and relevant documents. Interactive meeting of NUC that continues with the Directorate for the Establishment of Private Universities with the promoters. Interactive completion of submission of relevant documents, the academic brief, master plan, and law, the legal document to guide the management of the university. Then they will continue intensive review. Before we go, next slide, it says, the next slide, we have the first site assessment visit. Number 9, revision of documentation by proprietors based on the report from that first visit, make corrections and report back. Then the second site assessment visit, when we're satisfied with what they are showing that is on the ground, showing their preparedness on the ground after the first visit. Then we conduct the second site assessment visit. Security screening of proprietors and board of trustees, approval by NUC management, approval by NUC board, and approval by Federal Executive Council. Now, practical tips for implementing these steps. We expect that after accessing the guidelines, the criteria, and the requirements, there shouldn't be a lot of problem for the promoters. But in case there is, it's just to come and ask questions at the NUC. Then the requirements of land and the financial documents and land papers, also, we have the information there in the guidelines and all that. But if there's any problem, they can always ask us questions. They are the challenges especially have to do with the land requirement of 100 hectares for most private universities. Some of them are able to get land, but the lands are far away from municipal services, and it doesn't really help. So some of them start on temporary sites, which doesn't really help because they have to move before the end of 3 years. And then we have the bank guarantee of 200 million, which costs a lot of money. And the security clearance of the members of board of trustees and promoters also give them problem. And the solution overcoming these challenges is just making sure that after studying the guidelines, they make adequate preparations to get the land requirement or take their time. And for the bank guarantee, we also advise that they begin to work on it on time, because the banks are kind of Shylocks when it comes to bank guarantee. Security clearance, we ask them to submit early enough so that the Department of State Services will begin work on screening the candidates, that's the members of Board of Trustees, before it becomes too late or it stretches. So that's the way to overcome those challenges. Then lessons for academic planners. From our end, we begin to tell them to choose programs that are attractive, especially aligning with the Fourth Industrial Revolution workplace. We don't only produce students for Nigeria, we produce for the world. That they should, so academic planners are supposed to bring out programs that will attract students, because at the beginning they may not have many students because of the fee paying thing, which is also a challenge for them, because the fees they charge will normally not attract a lot of students, because many people don't have that money, that kind of money to go to private universities. So when they present programs that are attractive and some people can key in, can subscribe, it's easier for them. So academic planners, in planning the academic brief, the master plan, and the law, they are supposed to give advice on that particular issue, that the programs should be aligned with what is required in the workplace now. And of course, entrepreneurship, which they're supposed to also make sure that it is reflected in the program offerings. Another challenge is also dealing with JAMB. But what we do is, as soon as we get to the point where we conclude the licensing, that's at the end of the approval by NUC management, NUC board, and then final approval by Federal Executive Council, we write them to come for licensing. When they come for licensing, when they receive their license, we also send the same letter, copy the same letter to JAMB to give them students, to release students to them from whatever pool that they have at the time. That's those who have just passed JAMB and they have their WAEC and their papers, GCE ready. So these are the way, this is how it actually runs. So those challenges, they can continue to engage with NUC and also follow up with JAMB to make sure that they get the students. So we actually follow them through until that, and then NUC also conducts resource verification in terms of staff, both academic staff and administrative staff, which is also a problem for them at that time, because they will have to look for, or get from the pool of the ones that are already there, either from the private universities that have already been well established, or from private universities where the lecturers can come on ad hoc basis, on an adjunct basis, or visiting basis. So, and when they are able to get a good number of students, some of them will normally propose 500, 350. So we allow them to, make their choice and then see how far they can go in getting students from the pool of students that are available. So this at this end, we also have yes, we have the structure of the academic matters, that's the academic brief, the structure of the master plan. The academic brief has 10 chapters, which are supposed to guide the academic planners to prepare that document. And it gives birth to the master plan and the master plan and the law. The master plan also has 10 chapters listed there. You see the master plan there. And then the law is arranged in schedules and the sections. That's for the governance of the university. We've just provided that to show the structure of those documents, but the consultants in the PIC of the proposed university will normally consult widely with those who have university experience to be able to provide these documents the way they are supposed to be provided. At the end of everything, as soon as FEC approves, what we do is to hold a license presentation ceremony where the promoters giving the license, giving them the legal authority to start the university, and then invite NUC for the final resource verification to be sure that they have the requisite staff, both academic and administrative, to begin. At conclusion, I would say it is actually a straightforward process. It takes a bit of time, but it's straightforward, and then any promoter who is serious will be able to go through it if they understand that it's not for business, it's not for profit making, but a social service which may eventually bring some profit in the as the university matures.